Okay, I'm live. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Dion Johnson here, the Womaologist. Thought I had lipstick on my teeth. Welcome to episode 2 of Influencer. My name is Dion Johnson. I am the Womaologist, and that's because my work is all about supporting women to evolve as women and as leaders and as change makers, especially senior leaders, senior leading women in the public sector and in third sector leadership. I am passionate about supporting women to evolve and find their voice and make their mark within their sphere of influence. And so today's topic, episode 2 of Influencer, is you and I, we can do hard things. We can do hard things. Well, part of the challenge of doing this video series is that I've got so much I want to share with you. I've got so much I want to say that I really struggle to break it down into small chunks for vlogs, for small bits of information. I much more prefer to have conversations and be talking with you, and you asking me and saying something that triggers me and I say something that triggers you, and then we have this kind of dialogue. Like, that's my favorite. But as I was thinking about how to chunk things down, I realized that if I had a theme for what I want to say this week, I had got lipstick on my teeth. Sorry about that. If I were to chunk it down, when I was thinking about chunking it down, I lost my train of thought, sorry. When I was thinking about chunking it down, I realized that if I had a theme for this week of videos, this message that I want to talk about this week, it would be that there is more. There is more. There's more for us to do. There's more for us to be. There's more for us to experience and express and to make happen. There is more, right? And so that's how, get into the fact that I want to talk about there is more this week. Help me to chunk it down today to bring this very simple message that you and I can do hard things. I was thinking about this, and I was remembering last year, no, actually it was a year before, I was invited to celebrate International Social Work Day at one of the universities in London. And there was an amazing head of social services giving a presentation about social service results in her area. I was really excited to hear from her because my background is health and social care. So I was really involved in that, first as a midwife and then as a director of a regional director of a national health and social care initiative, a government initiative. So it's my jam. I'm really into what's happening in this arena. But when this lady started to present and share with us where she was, what's happening in her area, and what's going on with health and social care in her region, I found myself getting more sadder and sadder. I was disappointed, like hugely disappointed. And first of all, it was just a kind of, I could feel myself going down. And then I found myself kind of really sad about what she was sharing. And when I thought about it, and when I talked to her, I realized that my sadness was rooted in the fact that I had been giving those same kind of talks when I was involved in health and social care, right? It's like nothing's changed, like 20 years and nothing has changed. Her presentation could just have been one of mine that I gave back then. That the same people were in care, the same people were not in education or work or employment. The same people were getting pregnant at 15. The same people were, suffering with mental health issues, and same people were going to jail, and same people were this and the same. It's the same story, right? If there's anything different, it would be that the demand was higher and the funding was lower. Maybe that was a difference that I heard. And it really got to me. I started to wonder, what the heck? Like, why? Why aren't things changing? Why aren't things getting better? And, you know, I've been thinking about why. I talked to the lady that was giving the presentation, and, she said, Dion, it's really hard. And I heard her loud and clear. That change, the kind of change that we need to see in the world, the kind of change that people like you and I are in position to see, it's just not easy. If it was easy, it would be great, but it's not easy. It's hard. It's hard. I thought about that for a long time after that meeting. I made videos about it. I wrote about it. It really bothered me that there was this hard side to making the kind of change that we want to see in the world. Fast forward to the beginning of last year. I became a grandmother at the beginning of last year. My daughter had a baby, and it was just such an honor to be able to support my daughter through her pregnancy and then through her labor. I'd been a midwife for many years. I'm a mother myself, right? So, I felt like I enjoyed mentoring my daughter and cheerleading my daughter on. Anyway, somewhere in my daughter's pregnancy, she decided that she really wanted to have a go at a natural childbirth. She really thought, it really resonated with her that she was going to try and not have any high intervention, that she was going to have no pain relief, or at least not any major drug pain reliefs or epidurals. And she really wanted to give this whole natural childbirth thing a real go. And I really encouraged her. I really wanted her to achieve her goals. We did all the work. We read books. We prayed. We really got ourselves in a space to deal with pain. I did my coaching. I remember got my midwifery notes out and started to really, talk about the nature of labor and the length and the duration and run and lasting the distance and the different phases. Like, we really did put the work in to prepare her to achieve her difficult, challenging goal. And then, of course, nothing went to plan. Her waters broke way before her labor, and so she needed to be induced. And so it got to the stage where even after she had artificially had her waters broken, sometimes that's enough to get somebody into labor, and then they can go on and have a natural labor, a natural kind of induced labor. But it wasn't the case. Like, her waters were artificially broken, and then she didn't it didn't work. It didn't work that she went into labor by herself. So she needed to have, hard drugs to bring on this labor. So she thought about it, and we spoke about it, and she decided that she wanted to go for it. She wanted to still try to have no pain relief. Well, as a midwife, I know that the artificially induced contractions are really, really tough. I mean, they go from no pain to hard labor, like, very quickly, and it's very difficult to catch your breath. At least when labor picks up gradually, you kind of acclimatize to the different levels of the pain. And, traditionally in midwifery, what happens is when someone's induced in labor, they kind of have an epidural just sort of off the bat. They have an epidural because they know the pain's going to be induced really fast and it's going to be hard. But my daughter decided, after thinking about it and talking to me about it and her partner, she decided that she really wanted to give this thing a go. She still wanted to have a go at doing this hard thing, that she wanted to do hard labor without pain relief. Well, I really took my hat off to her. Of course I was worried. Of course I knew what she had coming, but she had made up her mind in such a resolute way that she was going to do this hard thing, that I just thought, you know what, I'm going to support her to do that. So what happened? She made a decision. She told the midwife. The midwife came in and said, should I get the epidural trolley? Should I call the anaesthetist and get you ready for the epidural? And my daughter told her about her decision to kind of go on and not have the epidural. And the midwife, her face dropped. And she was like, oh no, you don't, like, you don't understand what you're saying. It's like really hard work. And so my daughter explained that, she does know that it's going to be hard potentially, but she really has thought about it and she'd still like to go ahead. So the midwife left and went out, and then another midwife came in and said, "What do you think you're doing? Like, why are you, what? Stop this nonsense. Get the epidural in. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult." And then I went outside to get some water or something, and I saw some of the midwives there, and they said, like, you're a midwife. Why don't you talk some sense into her? Like, don't you remember how hard it is? And tell her how hard it's going to be. And I felt like the midwives thought this was a crazy idea because they knew how hard it was. And they were right, it's hard. But what I felt was that there wasn't a respect of a decision to try a hard thing. And it's just, I see it not just in the labour room, I see it in other places. I see where in senior leadership, we have these hard things that we face, especially in public service: inequality, racism, genderism, ageism. We've got crime, poverty, illness, indifference. We've got really hard things that we face on a day-to-day basis. But here's the thing, I don't think that's reason enough to not give them a go. We can do hard things. Hard things doesn't mean impossible. And impossible things don't even mean impossible. I keep thinking about how it was impossible to fly, and now we don't think of anything of jumping on a plane to go to a meeting in another country. Impossible things aren't even impossible. I think this is a day and age where we've got 3D printing. We can print body parts. We can print houses. There are people who are getting ready to go to Mars for their holidays. We can do hard things. And I think that as women leading in public service, I think we need to be thinking about what are the hard things that we have to face, and decide, make a decision to adjust the way that we approach hard things, or not. Change our mind about hard things. Change our mind about what's possible. So today, in episode 2 of Influencer, I want to say loud and clear that I want us to change our mind about doing hard things. I want you to change your mind about doing hard things within your sphere of influence. I'm inviting you to think about those old problems that are every year we embellish them on our end of year report, but they're the same problems over and over and over again. I want you to think about those problems. I want you to think about the new problems that are coming up as a result of all the change that is happening. What are the new problems that seem insurmountable or seem inevitable? Like, I want you to think about the hard things that are occurring within your sphere of influence. I want you to think about the hard things that are affecting you personally, and ask yourself, how do you approach hard things? Are you one of those that kind of pulls back and, just sort of like, oh, no, leave that alone, it's not worth it? Are you, I remember someone, Les Brown, I think it was, that said, it's not that we aim too high and miss, it's that we aim too low and hit. Think about that for a minute. Sometimes we're just so averse to going for gold, going for the impossible thing, going for the hard thing. I want you to think about that today. I want you to think about what are the hard things and how do you approach hard things personally? How do you approach hard things in your life? How do you approach it when you've got to have difficult conversations, or when you've got to learn a new and hard skill, or when you've got to enter into a challenging or engage with some kind of conflict? How are you with doing hard things? I think as women of influence, we really do need to work at being more readily open to trying and doing and engaging with hard things. I'd love to know what you're thinking about what I'm saying. I'd love to hear your views. I'd love to hear about some of the hard things that you have accomplished already, and some of the hard things that are yet to be addressed, engaged with in your sphere of influence. What are those hard things? I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Dion Johnson, the Womaologist. I really hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button somewhere around here. Share this video with your friends and people that you know need to be hearing this, especially women in senior leadership. And I'll be back tomorrow with another message. These broadcasts go out every weekday. And like I said, this week we'll be looking at There Is More. There is more. And see you then. Take care. Bye.